If you're over 60, your brain is shrinking while you sleep, and there's a 10-second habit that slows it down. This isn't a scare tactic. In a 2013 study at the University of Rochester, scientists discovered your brain has a cleaning system that only switches on during deep sleep. And when it fails, your brain physically gets smaller. The average adult brain loses about 5% of its volume per decade after 40. But the people who do one small thing before bed lose far less. Here's what almost everyone gets wrong about brain shrinkage. They think it's just aging. Unavoidable, written in the genes. You get old, your brain gets smaller, and there's nothing to be done about it. That's the story most people accept. It's not the whole truth. And the part they leave out is the part that can actually help you. Yes, your brain shrinks with age. Brain scans confirm it. By the time most people reach 70, the brain has lost measurable volume, and the spaces inside it, the ventricles, have widened to fill the gap. But here's the detail that changes everything. The shrinkage is not uniform, and it is not fixed. Two people the same age can have brains that look a decade apart on a scan. One looks 60, the other looks 75. Same birthday, same genes sometimes. Completely different brains. So the question is not, does the brain shrink? It does. The question is why some brains shrink fast and others barely shrink at all. And when researchers started chasing that question, they kept landing on the same answer, and it had almost nothing to do with crossword puzzles, supplements, or genetics. It had to do with what happens in the few minutes before you fall asleep, and whether your brain is able to run its overnight cleaning cycle. Most people sabotage that cycle every single night without knowing it. The 10-second habit fixes it. But to understand why it works, you have to understand the strange plumbing system hidden inside your skull, a system that wasn't even discovered until 2012. Let me tell you about the discovery that rewrote what we know about sleep. For over 100 years, scientists had a problem they couldn't explain. Every other organ in your body has a drainage system. It's called the lymphatic system. It's a network of tiny vessels that carries away waste, the cellular garbage that builds up as your cells do their work. Your legs have it, your gut has it, your arms have it. But when scientists looked at the brain, they found nothing. No lymphatic vessels. The most active, most energy-hungry organ in your body appeared to have no garbage collection at all. This made no sense. Your brain is roughly 2% of your body weight, but it burns about 20% of your energy. Burning energy creates waste. A lot of it. So where was it all going? In 2012, a team led by Dr. Macon Nedergaard at the University of Rochester found the answer. The brain does have a cleaning system. It had just been hiding in plain sight. They named it the glymphatic system. Glial plus lymphatic, because it runs along the brain's support cells called glia. And here's the part that matters for you. This system barely works while you're awake. It switches into high gear only when you're in deep sleep. Picture your brain as a city. During the day, the streets are packed. Traffic everywhere. Thoughts, signals, decisions, memories. There's no room for the garbage trucks. They can't get through. So the waste piles up at the curb, hour after hour, all day long. Then night falls. The city empties out. And only then, when the streets are clear, do the garbage trucks roll in. That's your glymphatic system. And the way it works is genuinely strange. When you enter deep sleep, the support cells in your brain actually shrink. Nedergaard's team measured it. The space between brain cells expands by about 60% during deep sleep. 60%! Suddenly there's room for fluid to rush through. Cerebrospinal fluid, the clear liquid that bathes your brain, floods into those open channels and flushes the waste out, carrying it down and away to be cleared by your body. Now here's why this connects to shrinkage. One of the main things the system clears out is a sticky protein called beta-amyloid. You may have heard the name. It's the protein that clumps together into the plaques found in Alzheimer's brains. When your glymphatic system runs properly, it washes beta-amyloid away every night. When it doesn't run, when you don't get enough deep sleep, that protein accumulates. And a 2018 study from the National Institutes of Health found that just one night of sleep deprivation caused a measurable spike in beta-amyloid in the brains of healthy adults. One night. Let that land. The waste that's linked to brain shrinkage and dementia gets cleared while you sleep, and only while you sleep deeply. Skip the deep sleep and the trucks never come. The garbage stays at the curb. Night after night, year after year, it builds. But this is only half the story, because there's a second mechanism that determines how well that cleaning fluid actually flows, and it's something most people unknowingly shut down every single night. Here's the second piece, and it's the one almost nobody connects to brain health. You're breathing while you sleep. The glymphatic system doesn't run on its own. It needs a pump. And the pump, it turns out, is partly driven by your breathing and your heartbeat, the slow, rhythmic pulses that push cerebrospinal fluid through your brain. Research from the University of Oslo and other groups using real-time brain imaging has shown that deep, slow breathing during sleep actually helps drive the flow of this cleaning fluid. Steady, slow breaths act like a gentle pump, pushing fluid through the channels. Shallow, broken breathing, the kind you get when your airway is partly blocked, disrupts it. Do you see where this is going? If you snore heavily, or if you have sleep apnea, where your breathing repeatedly stops and starts through the night, your brain's cleaning cycle gets interrupted again and again. Every time your breathing stutters, the pump falters, and it's worse than just a weaker pump. Each time you stop breathing, your oxygen drops, your brain jolts you up out of deep sleep to restart your breathing, and you fall out of the exact stage when the cleaning happens. You might never fully wake. You might not remember a thing in the morning, but your brain spent the night being yanked out of its only cleaning window over and over. This is why sleep apnea is so strongly linked to memory problems and brain shrinkage. A 2019 study published in Neurology followed older adults and found that those with more disrupted breathing during sleep had measurably more beta-amyloid buildup in their brains. The connection is not subtle. Some researchers now argue that untreated sleep apnea may be one of the most overlooked risk factors for cognitive decline in older adults. The research is still evolving on exactly how strong the link is, but the direction is clear and consistent. If you've ever woken up after 8 full hours and still felt foggy, exhausted, like your head was full of wet sand, this is what may have been happening inside your skull. You were in bed for 8 hours, but you may have only spent a fraction of that in the deep sleep your brain needs to clean itself. The hours were there, the cleaning wasn't. And here's the empathy moment, because I know some of you are lying there at night already worried about this. If your partner has told you that you snore or that you sometimes seem to stop breathing, please don't panic. This is one of the most treatable things in all of medicine, but you have to know it's happening first. That's the whole point of this video, to help you see what's been invisible. If this is making sense and you want the actual 10-second habit, the one that helps open your airway and prime your breathing for the night, subscribe now. It's coming up in just a few minutes, and it's the simplest, most overlooked tool in this entire field. Most people have never heard it because their doctor has 11 minutes per visit and no time to explain the plumbing of the brain. Now there's one more layer, and it's the one that surprised me most when I dug into the research. Because the position your body is in while you sleep, the simple matter of which way you're lying, may change how well your brain cleans itself. And that's where the hidden truth lives. What almost nobody talks about is sleep position. Not for your back, for your brain. In 2015, a team again led by researchers connected to Dr. Nedergaard's work, this time published in the Journal of Neuroscience, tested something nobody had thought to test. They asked a simple question: does the position of the body change how well the glymphatic system clears waste? They studied this in animal models, measuring the clearance of beta-amyloid in different sleeping positions, on the back, on the stomach, and on the side. The results stopped people in their tracks. Sleeping on the side cleared waste from the brain more efficiently than sleeping on the back or stomach. Think about that for a second. The way you happen to lie down at night, a habit you probably set decades ago and never thought about once, may influence how thoroughly your brain takes out its own garbage. The researchers themselves noted something striking. Side sleeping is the most common position in both humans and animals across evolution. It may be that we naturally drifted toward the position that keeps our brains cleanest. Now, this was animal research, and some scientists caution against assuming it maps perfectly onto humans. But the mechanism is plausible, and human imaging studies are now exploring it. Read that again. The position your body chose on its own, long before any scientist studied it, may be the position that protects your mind. Your body knew, you just never asked it why. And here's where it all connects into one loop. Side sleeping helps the fluid flow. Open breathing drives the pump. Deep sleep opens the channels. These three things are not separate tips. They are one system. When you sleep on your side, you also reduce snoring and airway collapse, which improves your breathing, which protects your deep sleep, which powers the glymphatic flush. One change ripples through all three. Now flip it around. Sleeping flat on your back does the opposite. For many people, especially as they age, lying on the back lets the tongue and soft tissue fall towards the throat, narrowing the airway. That worsens snoring and apnea. That disrupts breathing. That fragments deep sleep. And on top of all that, the back position itself appears to be the least efficient for glymphatic clearance. It's a quiet cascade of harm, and it happens in total silence every night while you believe you're resting. This is the part that genuinely troubles me. Millions of older adults sleep on their backs, snoring, breathing in broken gasps, certain they're getting a full night's rest. The clock says 8 hours, the body says otherwise. The brain spent the night with its garbage truck stuck in traffic, the streets never cleared, the waste piling higher. You cannot feel your glymphatic system fail. There's no pain, no signal, no alarm, just a slow, silent accumulation that shows up decades later as fog, forgetfulness, and a brain scan that looks older than your years. So the question becomes, if your brain has this built-in cleaning system, and if your position and your breathing decide whether it runs, how do you set yourself up every night to give it the best possible chance? That's exactly what the 10-second habit does. Here's the protocol, and the centerpiece is the 10-second habit I promised you. It's almost embarrassingly simple, which is exactly why it gets overlooked. The 10-second habit is this. Before you fall asleep, deliberately roll onto your side and take 5 slow, deep breaths. In through your nose, out slowly through your mouth, while consciously relaxing your jaw and tongue. That's it. 10 seconds. You're doing 2 things at once. You're setting your body in the position that clears the brain most efficiently, and you're priming your breathing into the slow, deep rhythm that powers the cleaning pump. You're telling your nervous system, we are safe, we are settling, begin the cycle. Do this every single night until your body does it without being told. Now let me give you the full set of steps that protect this system. 5 in total. Step 1 is that 10-second habit. Side position, 5 deep breaths, relaxed jaw. Make it the last thing you do before sleep. Step 2. If you're a back sleeper and you keep rolling over in the night, use a physical reminder. The old trick still works. A pillow wedged firmly behind your back so that when you try to roll flat, it stops you. Some people sew a tennis ball into the back of an old shirt. It sounds crude. It works. You're training your body over a few weeks to default to its side. Step 3. Protect your deep sleep by keeping your room cool and dark. Deep sleep is when the channels open. Set the room between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit and make it as dark as you can. Cooler temperatures help drive deeper sleep, which is the only stage when the cleaning truly accelerates. Step 4. Stop drinking alcohol within 3 hours of bed. This one matters more than people think. Alcohol relaxes the airway muscles, which worsens snoring and apnea, and it suppresses deep sleep specifically. You may fall asleep faster, but you spend less time in the exact stage your brain needs for cleaning. If even this one fact was new to you, hit like. It tells the algorithm to put this in front of more people who deserve to know it. Step 5, and this is the most important. If you snore loudly, gasp, or have been told you stop breathing at night, get evaluated for sleep apnea. This is not optional. No habit, no pillow, no breathing trick replaces real treatment for apnea. Dr. Maiken Niedergaard's own work points to a simple conclusion. The brain's ability to clean itself depends on quality sleep, and apnea destroys that quality. A home sleep test is now simple and inexpensive. Treating apnea is one of the few interventions in all of brain health with this much evidence behind it. Do these together. The 10-second habit primes the cycle. The position holds it. The cool, dark room deepens it. Cutting alcohol protects it. And treating apnea removes the single biggest thing that breaks it. Give it 3 to 4 weeks. You may notice you wake clearer, sharper, less foggy, because your brain is finally getting the nightly cleaning it was built to receive. Step back and think about what this really means. For your whole life, you've thought of sleep as switching off, powering down, doing nothing. The research has quietly turned that idea upside down. Sleep is not when your brain rests. Sleep is when your brain works hardest at the one job it cannot do while you're awake. Cleaning itself, protecting itself, holding back the slow shrinkage that we once believed was simply the price of getting old. It isn't simply the price of getting old. Some of it is, but a real share of it is the price of nights spent in the wrong position, breathing badly, never reaching the depth where the trucks roll in and the streets get cleared. And that part you can change. Tonight, in 10 seconds, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Which side do you sleep on? And did you have any idea it might matter for your brain? I'd bet most of you have slept the same way for 40 years and never once connected it to your memory. And here is the line I want you to carry to bed tonight. Your brain doesn't rest when you sleep. It cleans house. Remember that the next time you lie down. You're not shutting off. You're opening the doors, clearing the streets, letting the quiet work begin. The shrinkage we fear is not always destiny. Sometimes it's just a cycle that never got to run. Share this with someone you love who snores or who worries about their memory. It might be the most useful 10 seconds you ever give them. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you should. What's coming next week is something I've spent months on. The specific stage of sleep that decides whether today's memories survive until tomorrow. Sleep was never the absence of work. It was always the work.